So, Koenz, welcome to the Princess channel. How are you today?
Yeah, thanks for the invitation. I'm doing very well. It's a beautiful day in the south of France. Sun is shining, and I'm looking forward to the Easter weekend.
Awesome. And today we'll be talking about your crypto story. But just before we start, Koenz, if I was to meet you in high school, what kind of person were you?
Ooh, in high school, I was definitely a kid that was, on the one hand, very social, but on the other hand, I was very much focusing on myself. So I used many of the free hours to just do my homework. And that is because a lot of hobbies that I had outside of school. And my dad always used to say, school is important, but what you do outside of school is just as important. So I had my friend group. I had my comfort zone, I suppose, and I was happy in that zone. And I wasn't really a party guy or very outgoing. I just did what I had to do and focused on school, got my notes, and succeeded in some of my hobbies.
What were your hobbies?
Well, I from a very young age got into gaming. When I
Oh,
was a
yeah.
little kid, we had a PlayStation 1. My dad bought a PlayStation 1, or my parents, I should say. I had a Game Boy Color, I had the Game Boy SP, I had the PSP. I went from system to system to system. And eventually I got in touch with a game called Trackmania. It's a racing game. And I became a professional early in my high school years. I think second class, I was 14 years old. So that was my main activity, and as a professional, I had to do what I had to do outside of school. So yeah, I therefore focused very much during school hours on school and outside of school hours on my professional gaming career, as well as then socializing with friends and family.
Awesome. Living every teenager boy's dream. I suppose you were getting paid for that as well.
In the very early years, so we're talking 2006 here. So it's before I suppose, the boom of the gaming industry. I have been in that industry now for about 18, 19 years, and I'm still active in it as well. But back in the day, 2006, when I became a professional, I got a lot of gear from the sponsor Still series back in the day, all for free, no problem. I didn't yet get paid. That did happen a couple of years later when I was playing for Team Acer, the company Acer, the computer brand, and there I just got a salary. And I mean, that was also the moment where I was able to quit any of the side jobs that I had to do outside of school and outside of my gaming career. So then I pretty much had gaming as my side gig job outside of school, I suppose.
Okay, awesome. So from high school to 2020, when you first got into cryptocurrency, that's quite a period of time. What were you doing in between that time?
I'm mainly two things. One is school related, and the other one is gaming and esports related. So from high school, I eventually got into the study medicine, or actually, I'm actually lying. I mean, I tried to get into the study of medicine twice, and it's like a lottery system in the Netherlands, which is where I'm from. And my average was about a 7 in my final year. Score is 0 to 10. 10 is your excellent, 0 is your really bad. But I was like a 7. And I didn't get through the lottery. They didn't pick me, and it's quite literally a lottery. So I had to do something else, and I chose biomedical sciences at the University of Nijmegen in the Netherlands. And I did that for 3 years, got my bachelor, then got a transition year into the Bachelor of Medicine, which was 1 year, finished the Bachelor of Medicine in 1 year, and then got into my Masters of Medicine to become a doctor and eventually a surgeon, focusing on the heart or the brain. And that was my main focus. But at the same time, I had my gaming career, of course. So I was a professional gamer and I was doing well. My career was growing, the industry was growing, and therefore, naturally, my name in the industry started growing. And it just so happened that in 2014, I was invited to speak on television for the first time, which also happened to be a very big news channel in the Netherlands.
Mhm.
And the moment I was on that channel on TV. After that, it just exploded, and I got interview after interview, and radio, television, newspapers, and etc. So I really started to make a name for myself in the Dutch gaming industry. And because of that, I eventually had the opportunity to not only play games as like a job, but I became a television host on Fox Sports, which is now ESPN in the Netherlands, for a gaming show called Inside Esports. So actually an esports show, competitive gaming. And because of that, I became a keynote speaker, which eventually, after some time and experience, I became a global keynote speaker, which is what I still do today. And it gave me the opportunity to, sooner or later, stop my studies and focus fully on building my own business in the gaming and esports industry. And through that choice, I eventually ended up in the crypto industry, mainly because of television.
Right. Okay. So my understanding is that you got into crypto in the late part of 2020. So if we go back to 2020, it was the pandemic. People were dying everywhere. Businesses were closing down. There was uncertainty. The markets were going crazy. All the rest of it. We had so many issues going on. How did you, at that time, enter into the crypto space?
Well, at that moment in time, I was invited by the producer of the show that I hosted on television to host another show, which is about the cryptocurrency industry and financial industry. And I said, I'm open to do it, but I don't know anything about it. So if you give me 2 months, I'll be able to prepare myself, and then I'll host that show, no problem. Now, they gave me that time, so that's great. And in those 2 months, I studied the Binance Academy. So I had my notebook. I still have it today. And I wrote everything down about what's Bitcoin, what's this, what's that, and all the terminology. But naturally, I came in touch with the Bitcoin chart and in general, any crypto charts. And by studying the industry and by getting in touch with the chart, I eventually was like, well, why do I even have money in the bank?
Yeah.
I can better just put it on an exchange and use it. So that is what I did. And because of that television show, that is where my journey really started.
2 months is not much time at all. And cryptocurrency, learning about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is very, very difficult. It's actually very difficult to understand it before you get into crypto. But once you get into crypto, it's like a rabbit hole. There's so much to learn. How did you cope with only having 2 months to prepare?
Well, it's like there's a lot to learn, but you gotta also be able to, I suppose, dissect the what do you need to know for the show versus what is the whole industry about. Now, I would say, good speaker, at least in front of a camera on television. It used to be my job, and I have the skill to connect with people that are sitting around my table and keep the conversation going. Because as a television host, I am the one guiding the show. I had 2 guests, and then we always had a external guest invited by an online Zoom call, for example. And generally, it was one of finance's biggest names that we invited to our show. And my goal is mainly to ask the questions. I don't necessarily need to be the expert. I just need to know what I'm talking about, but I don't need to know all of the intricacies. So I need to know the like we call it like let's say the helicopter view of the industry, and then the intricacies and the detail, that's what I leave up to the guests that are speaking. So I just need to guide the conversation, make it one very nice, smooth running show so that viewers are easily following what's happening, and the rest is up to the guests.
So Koenz, tell me about 2021. It was a bull year. We had a double peak. So in the beginning of the year, we went straight up to, pretty much straight up to 64,000 US dollars in the April. And then because of the flood from China, we fell and we ranged at 50%. So ranged at about 30,000 US dollars before Bitcoins were taken off the exchanges. And a couple of months later, we went up and we made the actual all-time high in the November. That was a whirlwind of emotion. It was a very difficult bull run to, to experience, especially if it was your first bull run. How did you play, and what was your experience of the 2021 bull run?
Yeah, so I was born in the bull, not in the bear. The bull market, and especially that one, 2021, is where I started. And of course, I got in touch with Bitcoin and all sorts of other assets in crypto by studying Binance Academy. But I was drawn to the chart, put, as mentioned, all my money in the exchange. And my first trade ever happened to be on Ethereum when it was breaking out from about 970 to eventually 1050. And I was incredibly emotional. I had no idea what I was doing. And I remember going back from friends back home. We were visiting friends of my now wife, and we went home, got out at the train station, and my alarm went off for Ethereum, and I was like, oh. So I sat there on the station, opened my laptop, entered the trade, no idea what I was doing. Right, so I've never traded, only had money on the exchange, only saw a buy and a sell button. My stop loss was my liquidation at about 864. I remember entry 975. I was super emotional walking home. I couldn't sleep. It was about 10, 11 p.m. Was awake till 4 a.m. And eventually I just got to bed because I was like, either I lose everything and then I'll just get money again, whatever, or maybe I make a profit. Woke up a couple of hours later and was surprised to see price at about 1,030-ish. And I had 12K in profit. So I was like, okay, let me just close it here and just get rid of all the emotion as well. And I made 12K in a couple of hours sleeping. And of course, that's very nice. But what I generally say, and I guess I'm not the only one, is probably your first trade being a winner can be a big weakness as well, or a big problem, because it makes you think like, hey, this might actually be very easy. So you might continue on that journey of not really knowing what you're doing, playing with big budgets. But that also means big losses, which is what I experienced when Bitcoin moved up from 20 to eventually 40K. I managed to buy a Bitcoin with the profits from ETH as well, together with what I saved back in the day. And then I lost everything. Well, not everything, but all my profits when Bitcoin was ranging and made the 40K top, and then went down to 30, and we were ranging there. Lost all the profits and a little bit more. But eventually, that's where I was like, okay, there's more to this. I need to study. I need to learn about this industry. I need to learn about analysis. Got in touch with Elliott Waves, but we'll get to that probably later. And then eventually, I bought another Bitcoin again when price went up from, I don't know, it was like 40-ish, and held it all the way to 65. And then wow. I was so smart to keep holding when price moved back to 30.
Oh gosh!
Yeah, I had no experience. I had no experience. So I just did, and I was learning about technical analysis, and my Elliott Wave skills were not there yet. So I was just riding the wave, and I was also like more emotional about, whoa, I actually have quite a lot of profit. And I was, of course, one of those that, well, price is only going up. I was following, I guess, certain YouTube channels that always shout about 500 Bitcoin and look at the dots and we're only here and whatever. And back in the day when I wasn't that skilled yet, I mean, that's where many people start. So in the end, it's my bad. There's no financial advisor on the internet. So I made the mistake of holding all the way down to 30. And then I kept holding while price was down from 65 to 30, and we ranged there. Kept holding. Price went back up to 40, and then somehow I decided to sell there. And I have a feeling that it's probably just the emotion of riding all the way up, all the way down, and I just wanted to get rid of it. We were also eventually going to buy a house, so I needed the money anyway. And then price eventually followed up to 69. So I missed out on that bit. But it's all experience, and I was studying, and it made me the trader, the investor, the person that I am today, and also the analyst that I'm today with everything I do regarding the YouTube channel and Elliott Waves.
So what type of trader are you? Are you a scalper, day trader, swing trader, etc.?
I would classify myself as a day trader and a swing trader. I'm like in the middle. I don't really tend to hold for many weeks unless it just happens to be that way, like price moves in favor, and based on my analysis I expect it to continue. But generally I'm more of a day trader type, where I enter a position but I hold a bit longer than a day most of the time. So I tend to enter on a 50-minute, 1 hour time frame, sometimes 4 hour, and then I hold. But it's not for many weeks or months. So yeah, somewhere in between, I suppose.
Okay, tell me about Elliott Waves. Now, for those people who are not aware, there's many different indicators and strategies that you can use when you are trading. Elliott Waves is one of the more difficult and more challenging ones. They do take a lot of time to study and learn. Why did you choose to use Elliott Waves, especially so early on?
Yeah, great question. I got in touch with the industry in December 2020. I started studying, and then I got in touch with the charts in January 2021. And then my kind of like profit and fail story that I just explained happened in those first 2 months. And then in February, I was talking to an online friend of mine, Birabit. He is in the community as well, still to this day. So we're going already on for years now. And he sent me a photo of an Elliott Wave analysis done on Bitcoin, which actually happened to play out pretty accurately. And I just got inspired. And I am a very analytical person. And I checked it online, and I got engaged. I don't know how else to explain it. I was immediately interested. I love the psychology aspect of it. And I never really got rid of it. It's also, I guess, in a way, a benefit that I didn't know a lot of technical analysis. Like, it didn't scare me. The amount of work, the detail, the theory, the rules, guidelines, the nuances. For me, it was like, okay, so this is what it takes. If I want to get it done, if I want to actually do something in this industry, become a profitable trader, investor, an analyst, I need to learn Elliott Waves. Besides the fact I found it incredibly interesting. So that is how I got in touch with the magic of Elliott Waves. Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about the psychology that you just spoke about in a second. But just quickly, are you a natural mathematician?
Not at all.
Right. Okay.
Now, if you talk about high school earlier, I maybe should have said it back then, but my worst average score was for math. It's on my exams, in my exams, the only subject that I failed at the end of the year, all averages combined with all the exams over the year, was math. All the others were above, as we say in the Netherlands, then the score from 0 to 10, right? So everything 6 and higher is a voldoende in the Netherlands, like that's okay. Everything below 5.5 is well, you filled it. We call it onvoldoende in the Netherlands. And yeah, math was a 5. So it's the only subject I've always had troubles with, and also the only subject I got extra lessons for outside of school.
Mm-hmm. Let's quickly touch upon the bear market, and then we'll talk about the psychology of the markets. So after 2021, the parabolic bull run year, we slid into a bear market. So we made the all-time high in November 2021. We hit 69,000 US dollars. From then on, we slid into a bear market. Many things happen in a bear market. The price decreases. Fundamentally good projects can go down to zero. We had 3 Hours Capital, we had Celsius, we had Luna, we had FTX, we had Voyager, we had many black swan events. Were you aware of the difference between a bull market and a bear market?
I mean, for me, the market it's like a game. It goes up and down, and I don't really care in what wave I suppose we are in. I play both of the sides. Of course, as you learn about the industry, you learn about bull market, bear market. But in my style of analysis, it doesn't really matter much as I go short, as much as I go long. And there's a lot of money to be made in a bear market as well. Of course, there's, with regards to news and fundamentals, a lot of differences between the two. But from a technical point of view, and especially from an Elliott Wave point of view, I mean, the analysis is you still do the same steps. You still follow the rules, guidelines, and get to conclusions and just short the bear market. And I'm not really a fundamental guy, so I don't tend to look at news a lot. It was, for me, the bear market was not a problem. And I already started trading, and I was already making my plan and working on creating my plan in the 2021 during the bull market. I had quite a nice long from even though I held Bitcoin and sold at 40, I still had quite a nice long getting close to the all-time high, and then I had quite a nice short back down as well in the bear market as a beginner analyst. But for me, the bear market was great from a studying point of view, and also trying to slowly cope with my emotions and my trading psychology as the market was falling, and I was just analyzing it from a technical point of view.
One thing that I really like about you, and one thing that I really respect, is that you give a lot of respect to the charts, and you learn the charts. Also, you're very good with the psychology when it comes to crypto and the markets and price movements. You have met the author of The Mental Game of Trading a couple of times, and I know he's helped you as well with your psychology. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so Jared Tendler is the author of The Mental Game of Trading, and we got in touch already a long time ago, and he actually used to work in the gaming industry as well. He was the psychologist of Team Liquid, and Team Liquid, for the viewers that know about esports and the gaming industry, one of the biggest, most famous esports teams in the world. And I know the founder, and he knows the founder because he worked with the team. So the connection was relatively short. And he used to write books on poker. The Mental Game of Poker is the book prior to The Mental Game of Trading. I never owned that book, to be honest. But once he wrote The Mental Game of Trading, I was inspired. I got the book. I read the book, and prior to that, I also read other trading psychology books. But I have to say, and it's not because I happen to know Jared, but for me, the content in the book it is the best book on trading psychology in the market, period. I've read many books. I have not encountered any book that explains the psychology as he does, including exercises to work on your psychology, which I think is good. It's not just saying you should do this and this, but it's also giving steps to work on your psychology. And that's what I needed. Because what they don't learn or don't really teach you at the beginning is you have the market, you have the chart, and I can be a great technical analyst, but if you suck in your trading psychology, you're very unlikely to be a consistently profitable trader. And I only learned about trading psychology after I started to become quite good in my technicals and my Elliott Wave counts. And the trading psychology, I feel, should be introduced to newer traders a lot earlier in their journey. So that's why I generally, during live streams, spend a lot of time talking about trading psychology, answering questions about that as well. But yeah, I met Jared most recently in America, early March this year. And we met up at a Starbucks close to his place. Had a little chat together with my wife. She was there, and we weren't talking about psychology at all. This was just, how you doing? How's the kids? How's the family? How's life? And it's an amazing person. I can only vouch for what he does. It's a great, I think, a great asset to the industry, to traders that want to become profitable and notice they struggle with their psychology.
Yeah, I'll link his book down below. So if anybody's interested, they can use that link. Okay, let's talk about after the bear market. So normally in a crypto 4-year cycle, we have 1 year of decline, 4 years of increase in the price movement. So we came out of a bear market in 2023. Now in 2023, you also decided to open up your own YouTube channel. Why did you decide to do that?
So I was so I was part of several Discord groups, just online communities that anyone can enter, really. And I was sharing my analysis there, which of course slowly started to evolve into something that was pretty accurate and pretty good. And by sharing my analysis and engaging in communities, getting feedback, talking with people, I eventually was asked to do a Discord live to explain some Elliott Wave stuff on the chart. And that was specifically Bitcoin, which I did. But then one live stream, turned into another Discord live. And eventually people asked in that community, could you make a YouTube channel and explain some things there? And then I considered it. I officially made the YouTube channel somewhere in, I think it is like June or July 2022. But and then I remember I uploaded my first few videos quite soon after, but they actually were a mix of English and Dutch. So I started English to answer the community in Discord. And then at the end of 2022, I made myself a bit of a YouTube, almost not really a business plan. Sounds very business-like. It's more like a hobby to me to help people online. But I decided if I do YouTube, I want to do it good for myself. I just want to be proud on what I create.
Mhm.
So I got my notebook and I wrote a lot of stuff down, like I want this to be the banners and and this is the goal. And then I started my journey in Dutch. And then soon after making a few Dutch videos, I was like, I think I just switched to English. I mean, there's more people that speak English. It's a very English industry. If I want to help more people or inspire more people to use Elliott Wave Analyst, because it's one of the best tools you can use, in my opinion, I got to do English. So I switched to English, and then the channel really started on the 20th of February, 2023. And all because of sharing and communicating and engaging in other Discord communities. So if it wasn't for other people that had a free public Discord community that I could join as an absolute noob and was able to ask questions, share analysis, and that sort of stuff, the YouTube channel probably would have never been here, which is for me a big reason why my Discord group is also open and free. There's a lot going on, and I think giving people that opportunity can really help them in their journey, like it did for me.
Mhm. Okay, let's talk about so that was 2023. It was a new beginning for you. You had your YouTube channel. You're providing a lot of content. Were you also working on the side, or was it just YouTube in 2023?
No, at that time I was a global keynote speaker. Of course, with the pandemic, most of the gigs were online instead of offline, but I still had some gigs coming, so that's good. So I studied the charts and Elliott Waves more than full time. I spent the whole day studying Elliott Waves every day, which actually was a great time, not gonna lie. And I really believed that I could do it. So of course, eventually you go from a little bit losing to break even to profitable to consistently profitable. And it also, of course, with the bear market eventually bottoming, moving back into a bull market, starting the YouTube channel, things just came together. My trading went well, and then of course, I mean, the bull market happened, and the channel pretty much started in the early phase of that bull market. A public speaker is someone that tends to speak at events and conferences. A keynote, like in my case, then nowadays, a global keynote speaker is generally someone that is one of the highlights of the event. So they provide a keynote, which is they have a time slot for themselves, 30 minutes, 1 hour. They get paid to speak, and they're flown in. So if I go to a global event and everything is paid for by the event organizers, and I speak there for 30 minutes, 1 hour, whatever they ask me to speak on. I have my slot, and yeah, I provide a keynote speech, as you then call it, like fully focused on one topic. And public speaking is more of a general term. Like you can public speak in your high school, just in front of your class. You can public speak at an event. And I suppose keynote speaking is part of the public speaking helicopter overview, like terminology, I suppose. So, yeah, I have no problem standing in front of big audiences, and I love speaking about, in that case, gaming and esports. That's mainly the focus of my global keynote speaking. But with what's happening in crypto, I mean, maybe there's going to be an opportunity one day to speak on something crypto related. And you are the first person, by the way, thank you, Crypto Princess, to have me on something speaking related, which is
Oh,
awesome. So I appreciate that. In the gaming and esports industry, I've done countless of things, but crypto-wise, there's a new beginning for me, and I'm happy to share it on your channel.
I'm so honored. That's amazing. Just very quickly, what did your friends and family make of you being in crypto and then starting up your own YouTube channel as well?
Don't lose all your money, please. I don't have friends that trade in real life, at least.
Mhm.
And of course, nowadays you get to learn more people and you meet some more traders. But back in the day, my close friend group, also to this day, that I know already for 18, 19 years, they don't trade. My family doesn't trade. And the early phase of crypto was, I told them about my 12K profit, and then I also had to tell them about my 12K loss and a little bit more soon after. So they immediately got an idea of the volatility. And my mom, as she does very well, always highlights the risk and, play it safe, make sure you have money for this and this, and, a true mom, right? Wants you to take care of yourself, and she takes care of me as well. And I think it's still a little bit of an unknown territory for most of the close people around me. They know what I do. They know that I have the channel, I have the community, and they know about the way I work, about trading and everything. But they're not necessarily involved. They're involved in me. They want to know, how's Koen doing? How's your business? How's your trading? How's your analysis? But they're not necessarily getting into the markets because of me. They don't have a problem with crypto, no problem with trading whatsoever. They see how I do and the successes that I've had over now the past couple of years. And no, they're more than happy and accepting of everything crypto related. But in the beginning, it was more about just make sure you don't lose everything, please. Don't put it on the line.
Okay, let's talk about 2024. So last year, it was a good year for Bitcoin, even though we lived through it and it didn't seem so great for us. I think we started off at something like 38,000 US dollars, and we made an all-time high of 108,000 US dollars. Trump was elected. We got the ETFs and all the rest of it. What was 2024? What was last year like for you?
Well, we have, of course, different brackets, I suppose. So from a YouTube perspective, the channel in the first 10 months went from 50 subs from the Discord community to about 5.8K. Second year, which is 2024, it grew from 5.8 to about 12, which is amazing. Like, very surprised by the support and the kind community as well on YouTube. So that's amazing. And YouTube continues to grow. From a trading perspective, it's been one of my best years. I mean, the bear market was good, but as my skills evolved, I managed to be able to trade a lot more accurately and a lot more, I suppose, swingy in some cases as well, and managed to hold on to bigger positions. So in that case, the year has been amazing from a trading point of view. It was a great journey. And I mean, it's not that we're finished yet, of course, right? Of course, we move down and we're ranging at like 80K, but we'll see what comes next, of course, from a wave perspective in my case. And then from an analysis point of view, I think that when I started the YouTube channel, I was a good analyst. I know what I was talking about and definitely up there. But as I keep analyzing, keep developing myself. There's always something to learn, in my opinion. I became even better, and I definitely have a great. I mean, this sounds. I maybe moved into the wrong direction here, but at least from an analysis point of view, I'm very accurate. The analysis I share on YouTube is exactly what I use in my trading and how I approach the market. So people will get a good feel on how I am doing by just watching the content as well. And I'm happy my analysis is improving and very accurate and very expert-like. So far everything going good. And then outside of trading, married last year in March. So thanks. So after now 7.5 years together. Everything going smooth. Moved to the south of France instead of being in the Netherlands. More sun, which we enjoyed. The mountains, skiing nearby. This last year has been an incredible year. Moving to France, marrying, profitable, YouTube channel growing, and there will be years that will be more challenging than 2024 was, I'm sure.
So let's just go back to that, your analysis. So you said you're not really much of a fundamental trader, or do you take into account microeconomics or stuff, or is it simply just the charts you look at?
Only the charts. I never open any news website. No, that's officially not true. I do have the economic calendar that I share in most of the videos, where I say, hey, based on the calendar and the high impact news, there are some high impact news on these days. So just make sure you trade safe. But 9 times out of 10, I don't even know what the high impact news actually means. I just see it's in the calendar rated as high impact. And I'm just aware that it might spark some volatility, but I don't actually know necessarily what it means, what it is, and all the fundamentals. So I'm 100% a pure technical analyst, and I don't do anything with fundamentals from a trading or analysis perspective.
That's amazing. That's actually outstanding. So can I ask, what's your profit and loss ratio trading like that?
If I have a good month, it's about 80. Bad month should be about 50, 60. Generally, it's around 65 to 68% averaging. But then again, as mentioned, the bad months are generally about 50-ish, 55-ish, right? 60-ish, let's say below 60. And a good month is above 70. So my average is somewhere there in the middle. And I also like, I suppose, viewers to know that I'm not a scalper. So as a day trader, swing trader, right, I only need a few positions in a month, which, of course, if you take many trades, it also means you increase your risk, right, because you're exposed to the markets a lot more. And if you take a lot of trades, then eventually by trade 90, your loss or your win there is going to affect your percentage a lot less, right? If you check all the win rate in that month. In my case, my average on a monthly basis is between like 10, 15 trades a month. If I have a high trading month, it would be 20. If I have a low trading month, it's about 5. So you can see that the win rate, of course, is combined with risk reward ratio. I'm not going to lie, if you want to be profitable, those two need to be together. And then it's also how many trades do you actually take?
That's amazing. Yeah. That's really, really good. Okay, let's talk about 2025. So how has this year been for you? I know you're married now, you have a different lifestyle from when you started. You're now a husband, more responsibilities, you're in the south of France. You've got your YouTube channel, you've got a huge community, and we'll come to your community next. How is 2025 for you so far?
I would say, so far so good. I do think that I am learning more about myself this year, not necessarily as a trader trading psychology, but more as a entrepreneur, because I started a YouTube channel as a fun little thing, just to help some people and share my analysis. And now here we are with, I don't know, almost 17K subscribers, and things start to become pretty big. A big Discord community, amazing moderators, by the way, that are helping me out in several occasions during the day and answering questions and during live streams. Having two people that work for me as freelancers as well. So I start to develop myself more as an entrepreneur, and I have been an entrepreneur for a while, but generally I was like, I like to call it a solopreneur. So I did my thing, which always went well, as a speaker, as a television host. I had another business in the gaming and esports industry that I had with two other people, co-owners, but that eventually that business that we stopped that business. So I'm learning a lot from this journey. I have a business coach for a long time as well, which is helping me to make sure that my balance between work and life, right? As you say, I have a wife. I also have activities outside of trading. I try to maintain balance, but sometimes I do notice it's actually quite tough. And I'm definitely not looking at a burnout here, but I am very aware on how can I manage everything in the best way possible. And viewers of my channel will notice or have noticed that I started once upon a time with YouTube with 3 updates a day on Bitcoin only, morning, afternoon, and evening. And as the channel progressed, I think for about 1.5 years, I did, or maybe even 2, I did like 3 videos a day. And then I noticed I can't keep up because community getting too big, questions, other stuff going on, other projects. And now I do 1 video or 1 live stream a day most of the time, sometimes 2 if I have an open day. But at least I try to upload once a day, and sometimes not even on a day if the market is silent, not much happening. Or I might cover an altcoin nowadays as well. There's just another chart instead of Bitcoin, which I like to do. So it's going well. A couple of goals that I want to meet this year, or at least want to check, and we approach those goals step by step. Some go well, some not so well. But I think this year is going to be mainly a development of myself and how I manage business now. Almost like hobby becomes more professional, but I've always had that with gaming as well, so that's not a problem. I love everything with YouTube related, but it's more how can I manage the time that YouTube needs and everything that comes with it and all the external projects that we have outside of just videos. How can I manage it in the best way possible with going skiing with my wife, go for dinners, do things with friends and that sort of stuff. So far so good, but I also think there's a lot to learn.
Yeah. Okay. So just very quickly, we'll talk about your community. Now, I am in your Discord. You have a really excellent community. Everyone is so friendly. I've lurked on your live streams. Again, everyone's so friendly. They're so respectful. You have a wonderful community. Tell me about them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how this came to be, honestly. When I look at the community, everyone loves to share their 2 cents. Everyone is very respectful. If there is a black sheep, then of course we'll manage it, but that rarely ever happens. And the community is, it's one of the things I am most proud of when I look at the YouTube journey, is how the community developed. And I don't really think that I necessarily had a great impact on how it has developed. Of course, I have a certain personality that attracts a certain audience. But in the end, it's the people that make the community. It's not me. I see myself as a community member. It just happens to be my community, but in my feeling, it's still just, I'm part of the community. I just happen to be the guy that makes the videos. But I see it as like a team. When someone else is sharing an amazing analysis or a chart, then I will show that in a video or a live stream, and I'll say this was their analysis. It's their chart. It's not Koen's idea. It's this person's idea. I just happen to be the guy with the videos, and I have some very strict rules, I suppose, where just to protect the community, as I have seen in some others where things go wrong, and everyone respects those rules. Everyone respects each other, and yeah, I can't ask for more. It's a great place where I love to hang out during my day. I always have Discord open on my screen, and together with the moderators and the people in the team that do an amazing job in being active and answering questions, and then myself being very active as well. I don't know. It's a great place to be, and yeah, for me, it's if I would like to join a community, then yeah, I would be in my community. It's very Elliott Wave focused, but we also have a lot of other technical analysis in the Bitcoin TA and Ethereum's channels and whatnot. So there's something for everyone, and yeah, I'm very proud on everyone in that community. Yeah, it's amazing. I don't know what to say really, because I don't feel like I had a great deal of influence. It it just grew, and it's something that is beautiful. Yeah.
One thing that I do like about the way that you help, or the way that you run the community is, it was something that we had in our DMs. You don't want to give somebody fish; you want to teach them how to fish,
Yeah.
and I really, really like that. Tell me more about that. How do you do that? Is that just through the videos?
Yeah, so that's one of the things I'm very uh focused on, or I don't know, like strict on, or whatever the English word is. But the goal of the channel, right? Back in the day, when someone asked me, "Hey, can you explain this in a YouTube video?" The goal is to help people. I am not on YouTube to share my trades, to show my X amounts of percentage profits and my 6, 7 digits or whatever dollar profits, just to get the clicks and get people into my videos. Now, maybe that is gonna mean that I will have less people watching a video because they don't see the green numbers and they don't see all of that fuzz. But I really love to focus on the educational aspect. I always wanted to help. That's why I wanted to become a doctor. I wanted to help people. My other business in the gaming industry was helping parents with gaming children, which I've done for 6 years as well. So that's also help related. And now I feel that in this industry, I can help people as well with all the experience that I have. Of course, focused on Elliott Waves and trading psychology. Making a plan is a very big thing as well for me, is that people have to trade with a plan, which is the reason why we're setting up a new platform called Hexaplan. But yeah, it's focused on helping people in their trading journey, and it would be helping someone that I would have liked to have when I was in the beginning of my journey. We don't do signals and all of that stuff. I don't support that as well, to be honest. I don't like it. And I think if you want to be successful in this industry long term, not just for a week or a month or maybe 6 months, if you want to be in this industry long term and you actually want the freedom that trading gives you, or you want to use the bit of extra money to take your wife for dinner, or whatever you're going to do with the money, if you want to be long-term consistently profitable, you need a plan. You need to be able to do it yourself. You can't follow any influencer, can't follow any signals, can't do any of what they have on the exchanges, the copy trading. I don't know. I don't believe in any of that. I learned trading myself by studying, and I can go offline, close everything, and still earn my money. And that's the power of having a plan, being educated, and I wish that for everyone. So that's a very big thing for me, is no signal, no P&L screenshots in Discord. That we don't. So I've never been I've never liked to share money related things with others in general in my life. And I see trading the same way. So I don't like to share things in content and all of those trades and my portfolio size and all of that stuff, because I am not comfortable with sharing this. And also it is private, which is the reason I'm not comfortable with it. So for me, it's very private information. And if people do not respect the fact that for me it's private information, and they might go to another channel, then that's absolutely fine. It's, everyone has their own channels, but we don't support any P&L screenshots. Generally, it's only to boost someone's ego. I share my P&L. You don't know what the size is. You don't know what the risk is. They might trade with €1. There's no value in that. And I 100% focus on education. Some people will love it. Some people will doubt me. Hey, he's not sharing trades. He's not sharing signals. He's not sharing this or that. And in my opinion, well, if you don't like that, then there's many other channels for you. I don't have to be the person for everyone. This is a big stance that I have in the industry. So education for me is number one. Help people to fish, and they can feed themselves forever. So that's a big goal.
Mm-hmm. And then just quickly, my last question will be, what are your goals moving forward for the rest of 2025?
For 2025, well, we have big goals with regards to Elliott Waves. So this year, the goal is to build the foundation of eventually competing with Elliott Wave International in the Elliott Wave industry. Now you might not know Elliott Wave International, but it's the biggest company or institution business that covers Elliott Waves. It's actually from my inspiration, or one of the great Elliott Wave analysts, Robert Prechter, that I happened to meet about 1.5 months ago. Amazing person. But I see a gap. I see potential, and they are great in education, which is something I am focused on as well. And the goal is to, in 10 years, just be the leading global authority on Elliott Waves. And in 5 years, we want to be competing for that position. And this year, we're building the foundation.
That's amazing. I wish you all the best in that. So Koenz, it was absolutely lovely having you on the Princess channel and hearing your crypto journey. Much love to your community, and thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me, and thanks for being the first ever interview I've done in this industry. It's been an absolute joy, and I wish your channel the best. I mean, you're growing very quickly, and keep doing what you're doing, because I think it's great for people in general, beginners as well as advanced traders, to hear the stories of others. It can be great, like a great learning or a great inspiration as well. So I think this type of stuff is necessary. So thanks for doing this.
That's brilliant. Thank you.